Dear students, I am Mr. J. R. A. Karuldas, Assistant Professor, Mathematics, St. Joseph College of Arts and Science, Kadalur. And again we are going to see second part in graph theory. So we begin from the topic where we left in the previous video. Now we begin from the independent sets. We know a covering of a graph G equal to V comma X is a subset K of V such that every line of G is incident with a vertex in K. A covering K is called a minimum covering if G has no covering K dash with modulus of K dash less than modulus of K. The number of vertices in a minimum covering of G is called the covering number of G and is denoted by beta. And already we have seen the independent set and independence number. Using this we have an important theorem. A set S subset of V is an independent set of G if and only if V minus S is a covering of G. So this theorem says about the relation between the independence number and the covering number. So here we begin with the independence number, and finally we are going to say that V minus S is a covering of G. So for the proof, by the definition of S is an independent set, independent if and only if no two vertices of S are adjacent. That is, if and only if every line of S is incident with at least one point of V minus S. That is, if and only if V minus S is a covering of G. Hence the proof. From the above theorem, we have an important corollary. That is, prove that alpha plus beta equal to P. Says that an independence number and a covering number gives the total number of points in a graph. Let S be a maximum independent set of G and K be a minimum covering of G. We know that modulus of S is equal to alpha and modulus of K equal to beta. Also we have seen that V minus S is a covering of G and K is a minimum. We know that covering is always minimum, independence is maximum. Hence modulus of K is less than or equal to modulus of V minus S. So that beta is less than or equal to P minus alpha. Thus we get alpha plus beta less than or equal to P. Again V minus K is an independent set and S is a maximum independent set. Hence modulus of S is greater than or equal to V minus K. So that alpha is greater than or equal to P minus beta. Thus we get alpha plus beta greater than or equal to P. From the equation 1 and 2 we get that alpha plus beta equal to P. So using that we can say the definition of line covering, and we have another important result, alpha dash plus beta dash equal to P, where the result stands similar like alpha plus beta equal to P with the smaller changes. So let S be a maximum independent set of lines of G so that modulus of S equal to alpha dash, and let M be a set of lines, one incident line for each of the P minus 2 alpha dash points of G not covered by any line of S. Clearly, we know that S union M is a line covering of G. Therefore, modulus of S union M is greater than or equal to P dash. Substituting the value of modulus of S union M, we get P is greater than or equal to alpha dash plus beta dash. Let it be equation 1. Now, for our convenience, we define a minimum line covering T so that modulus of t equal to beta dash. Using that we find a subset W. So let W be a set of endpoints of g of t consisting of exactly one endpoint of for each line of t. Hence W modulus of W is equal to modulus of t equal to beta dash. Now combining all this, we have p equal to modulus of W plus number of stars in g of t, and that is equal to p beta dash plus number of stars in g of t. It says that alpha dash is greater than or equal to number of stars in g of t. Hence from 2 we get p is less than or equal to beta dash plus alpha dash, and again combining these two, we get alpha dash plus beta dash is equal to p. Now we have intersection graphs and line graphs. First we see the definition. Let f equal to s1 to sp be a non-empty set of non-empty family of distinct non-empty subsets of a given set S. The intersection graph of f denoted by omega of f is defined as follows. The set of points v of omega of f is itself and 2 points si sj are adjacent if and only if I is not equal to j and si intersection sj not equal to null set. A graph G is called an intersection graph on S if there exists a family f of subsets of S such that G is isomorphic to omega of f. So for a given graph, for all the given graph, we can find the intersection graph named f. Using that we have the theorem. Every graph is an intersection graph. It's an important theorem. Next we see a famous theorem. Let G be a P, Q graph, then L of G is a Q, QL graph where QL is equal to 1 by 2 summation of QI square minus Q. DI square minus Q. So what we are going to prove is the new graph, the line graph of G, L of G is has the number of points as Q and number of lines as QL. Number of points is Q is obvious. In the given graph L of G, the total number of points is Q, it's obvious. So it is enough if we prove the number of lines is equal to QL, where QL is equal to 1 by 2 into summation of DI square minus Q. To find the number of lines in L of G, any two of the DI lines incident with VI are adjacent in L of G. We know that in a given graph, if 2 points are adjacent, then the corresponding lines in L of G are also adjacent, and hence we get DI into DI minus 1 by 2 lines in L of G. Hence QI is equal to, for all the points, for all the lines, it is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to P DI into DI minus 1 by 2, separating the summation 1 by 2 summation DI square minus 1 by 2 summation of DI. Summation of DI square minus 1 by 2 summation of DI, we know it is 2Q. So we get 1 by 2 into summation of DI square minus Q. Hence the proof. We have an important theorem, Whitney theorem. Let G and G dash be connected graphs with isomorphic line graphs. Then G and G dash are isomorphic unless one is K3 and the another one is K13. They simply say that we consider two graphs G and G dash. These two graphs are isomorphic only if G is K3 and G dash is K13, vice versa. Next we have a definition. A graph G is called a line graph if G is isomorphic to L of H for some graph H. Next we see the matrices of a graph. We have two types of matrices. There are two types of matrices. First one is adjacency matrix and the another one is incidence matrix. First we see the definition of adjacency matrix. Let G equal to V comma X be a P comma Q graph with let V equal to V1 to Vp. The P cross P matrix A equal to Aij, where Aij equal to 1 if two points are adjacent, equal to 0 otherwise, is called an adjacency matrix. For a simple graph, the following matrix is the adjacency matrix. Next definition, incidence matrix. Let G equal to V comma X be a P comma Q graph. Let V equal to V1 to Vp and X equal to X1 to Q, XQ. Then the P cross Q matrix B equal to Bij, where Bij equal to 1. If Vi is incident with the Xj is equal to 0 otherwise, is called the incidence matrix of the graph. There are some interesting facts in the adjacency matrix and the incidence matrix. Now we move on to the operations on graphs. We have some number of operations in using two graphs. Let G1 equal to V1 comma X1 and G2 equal to V2 comma X2 be two graphs with V1 intersection V2 not equal to null set we define. So we consider two different graphs G1 and G2. Then the union of these two graphs is G1 union G2 to be V comma X, where V equal to V1 union V2 and X is equal to X1 union X2. And second one is the summation of two graphs. The sum G1 plus G2 as G1 union G2 together with all the lines joining the points of V1 to a point of V2. And third one is the products. The product is defined as G1 cross G2 as having V equal to V1 cross V2 and U equal to U1 comma U2 and V equal to V1 comma V2 are adjacent if U1 equal to V1 and U2 is adjacent to V2 in G2 or U1 is adjacent to V1 in G1 and U2 equal to V2. Next the composition G1 of G2 as having V equal to V1 cross V2. See, the composition of two graphs is modified from the product of these two graphs. We just make it complete. The product of two graphs. Thus we get the composition of graphs. Where U equal to U1 comma U2 and V equal to V1 comma V2 are adjacent if U1 is adjacent to V1 in G1 or U1 equal to V1 and U2 is adjacent to V2 in G2. Here is an example for these operations. First one is union, second one is sum, and third one is product, and the fourth one is composition. Using this we can see a theorem for the given two graph. We have to prove G1 union G2 is a P1 plus P2 comma Q1 plus Q2 graph. That is, the number of points in G1 union G2 is P1 plus P2 and the number of lines is Q1 plus Q2. And second one, sum of two graphs. A has the number of points as P1 plus P2 and the number of lines is Q1 plus Q2 plus P1 into P2. Also the product G1 cross G2 is a P1 P2 comma number of lines is Q1 P2 plus Q2 P1 graph. And the fourth one, G1 of G2 is a P1 P2 as number of points, and the number of lines is P1 Q2 plus P2 square Q1 graph. The proof is obvious, so we can see to it. Thank you.